What I love about Richard is his honesty, and also he's very caring. I can see him going extra mile for anyone, and his love for family as well. And also he's funny.
What do I like about Jess? I love her eyes. I always tell her that her eyes is always just full of kindness. Her smile, and there's just something really contagious about her smile. I really love her heart for people. Her heart for her family is just so big. Her heart for God and for people always amazes me, always challenges me to be better.
So when I first met Richard in 2009, we actually had a small group of 3, Richard, myself, and another guy. We always hang out together. And Richard at that point was interested in another girl, and he would ask me about, oh, what should I do? I felt like at that point I'm his sort of good girlfriend.
No, I never always had feelings for Jess, although people in our circle always thought that we were a thing. We're just good friends, you know. But I guess over time, because we spent so much time together, I started to notice a lot of good qualities about her. When I was 12, 13 years old, I remember being just so hopelessly in love with girls around me, and it was just sad. My mom was aware of it, and I remember very distinctly actually one day on the way back from school, and she said this to me, and it stuck with me for a long time. She said, you know, boy, if you really love someone, pray to God and ask that if she's the right one, that He will preserve her heart, that no matter where you go, no matter how both of you turn up to be, that in the end God will bring the two of you back together again. At the end of 2013, and everything was just pulled out from under me. That was when I really stopped to ask myself, did I really know what marriage is all about? Like, that was when I started to ask the hard questions. I told God, I said, God, if to love you is ultimate love, how come I don't feel the same way towards you the way I do towards, you know, girls that I'm infatuated with? I literally challenged God. I said, God, teach me what it means to love you. He really brought me on a journey after that. One book that really helped me was You and Me Forever, written by Francis Chan. The part that really blew my mind was, he said this: as a husband, if I give my wife everything, so like I love her the best that I can, I provide her with all the luxuries of life, but if all of that takes her away from her destiny, prevents her from being able to stand in front of God ultimately in the end, and if God doesn't say to her, well done, good and faithful child, then I have failed as a husband. God has called husbands to lay down their lives for their wives, just as Christ laid down His life for the church. The love that you have for your wife is not meant to be self-serving, it's really to lead them towards God. My wife and my children are gifts that are meant to steward. They're not mine. Their destiny and their purpose, their lives still belongs to God in the end.
In the journey of this, I don't know what to expect, but God sort of spoke to me through people. So one day I was working at the pharmacy, and one of the customers that I know, and she said that, oh, well, I believe that God will send you that special someone because you're beautiful inside and out. And when I hear that, it was at the point where I was actually praying for a while, and I'm wondering when is that man of my dreams going to come? But when she said that to me, it felt like God was really speaking directly to me and encouraged me to keep on believing. The turning point is that I was doing my devotion and God was talking to me, and He said that, Jess, do you really believe in me that I will send your man of your dreams to you? Then why are you doubting me? And I said, well, I don't think I'm doubting you, I've been praying about it. And He said that, well, you either have faith or not have faith. He reminded me of this verse in Mark where when you say to the mountains, be removed, it will be removed. And do not doubt even a single little bit. God said, do you believe that I had someone, you just have to wait for it to come? And I think from that moment on, that's where I really believe in my heart to say, yeah, I'm going to trust you, God. Because Richard and I, we go to the same church and we meet every Wednesday. That night, and in the midst of leading the Bible discussion, I have this thought that came to me, and I felt like God was telling me that Richard is the one. And I was like, no way. Because I wasn't interested in him, I was actually interested in another guy.
We have a family friend. Her name's Auntie Christine. And Auntie Christine actually knows Jess and she loves Jess. And so she was like, what about Jess? You know, like, aren't you guys in the same church? Blah, blah, blah. So that night when I got home, I decided to be cheeky. Whipped out my phone, I texted Jess and I said, I was with Auntie Christine and your name came up. And she was like, oh, really? She should try to matchmake us, I said. And Jess perhaps was feeling a little bit cheeky as well. And she was like...
And I said, so what did you say? You know, he said, oh, you know, they were asking me whether Jess likes Richard. And Richard said, oh, I don't know. And I said, well, how about, did they ask you whether you like me? And then Richard replied saying, I don't know.
And I cheekily said, well, I guess we should go out then to find out.
I was like, in that moment, I was like, wow, God, this is so random too, and is this from you? So 3 months into it, he didn't do anything. We're just texting each other. And I actually told him that, you know what, I don't think this is healthy to continue, but I think we're just good to stay as friends.
So the turning point was at that one fateful night where we both went out for dinner. At that time, it was like scales fell off my eyes and I saw her in all her beauty. I was almost embarrassed because I felt like I wasn't dressed up well enough that night. And we had the best night just chatting away and just really enjoying each other's company. It felt comfortable, felt like home. It really felt like this could be the start of something more. Because at the end of the day, for the both of us, it's very important that God is involved in our decision-making process. We decided to pray about it. For me, that night, it landed on Psalms 119. And I just felt peace from that. I felt peace that regardless of what Jess was going to say, yes or no, my purpose and my identity still remains the same. And that my purpose in the end is found in God, not in her or even myself. Towards the end of the night, I pretty much just texted Jess and just said, hey, you know, Psalms 119 was really good, got a lot out of it. But lo and behold, Jess actually had her own encounter with God.
That time, I have not even spent time with God yet, so I'm like, I better spend some time with God. When I read my Bible, I have an app that it will tell me what book or what chapter to read. And when I spend time with God and read that inspirational chapter, is actually Psalm 119. At that point, I was speechless and also emotional, and I was teary because I finally found my confirmation that I can say yes to this relationship. God reminded me of this vision that when I was 9 years old, in a beautiful garden, and in the middle of the beautiful garden there is a big lake and there's also a tree. God is sitting under the tree on a big rock and I'm dancing around freely around the lake and God is just watching me. And God reminded me of this picture and saying that, Jess, whatever decision you make, I want you to be happy and free like that little girl. But I asked myself the question, before I met Richard, am I happy? And I said I am, but after starting to go out with Richard, I am actually happier. And I was just so overwhelmed by God's love. Because at the end of the day, like, you know, God gave us free will to choose who we want to be with, but He also guides us to this decision making.
Came time for the proposal, and I just thought that what better theme to use Psalms 119. I wanted 119 to be that reminder also that God is always there. Jess always loved notes. Every time I write her notes, she always loves it. So I thought, okay, let's write her 119 notes. And the last note will be the proposal note. How about even the date will reflect 119? I wasn't organized enough to have it all done by the 11th of September, so I had to opt for the American version, which was 9th of November. That was pretty much the game plan.
You came over to my house to drop the first weeks.
Yeah. And then as soon as she was done with the first 7 cards, she thought, okay, you know, that was something sweet. you know, like. But then lo and behold, when she got home after the 7 days, she found another bundle of cards in a car. Yeah, and then that's when you thought that okay, something's going on. You started counting cards after a while, isn't it?
Yes, I'm thinking, well, maybe he will propose to me on the 100 note.
And then what happened?
And that 100 note falls on a day, was one of our mutual friends' birthday party. And I thought he would just do like a surprise thing and say, will you marry me proposal thing, but nothing happened. So
Nothing happened.
I just kept quiet. Was a little bit disappointed actually.
And so anyway, came the 119th day. I took a day off that day because I needed to prepare. I bought 119 balloons, decked out my living room. I always wanted to rewrite a song called Chocolate Sundae. When we first met in 2009, I wrote it for her, but not really for her, sort of. Now that we're together, I thought, what a great opportunity if I can actually try to rewrite the lyrics of Chocolate Sundae for her. But somehow during that time, that day, just sitting there in the car, stuck on the Westgate Bridge, everything just started to flow, the lyrics just started to flow. Ultimately, when she finally arrived home, I surprised her, gave her flowers, asked her to go dress up, and I brought her to my place. I brought her back to my living room, sat her down on the same sofa where we had our very first conversation about getting together. In a sense, like representing coming full circle and bringing her over to my place to start a new life with me. And I sang her the song and I read to her the 119th card. It ends with, will you marry me? Yeah, and that was it really. And I think you said yes?
I think?
Yeah.
Of course I said yes.
Yes. So Jess, got something to tell you.
What's it?
February's gone too fast. Don't be thinking what will last, but I thank God for you. There's a reason for this season. Though my family I've been missing, I know they're not too far. It feels like home again when I'm with you. Yes, it feels like home. Yes, it feels like home again when I'm with you. Yes, it feels like home. You got me singing, you're what my heart's been waiting for. You're the only one my heart adores. So hit every valley and mountain high. My heart is smiling 'cause baby I choose you. Oh, it's time for Chocolate Sundae. Oh, so tell me what would you say? I took all this time to tell you 119 reasons why. Oh, that I would choose you each day. Oh, and for you my heart will stay. So would you marry me?
Me? Yeah.
Let's start a family. So what you say? Yeah, no? Come on.
Does it feels like
Okay.
home again when I'm with you? Yes, it feels like home.
It feels like home again when I'm with you. Yes, it feels like home.
fiesta.